everyone. Welcome to another episode of A Man's World USA. As always, I have a lot to talk about. It's been a minute since I've recorded a podcast, but I haven't actually done one since Charlie Kirk was assassinated a couple of weeks ago. It's actually been about a week and a half. So let's start with the incredible level of hypocrisy coming from the left. So for years, conservatives like myself and bigger conservatives that have a bigger voice have been suppressed from social media. I have been kicked off, warned, put into Facebook jail on every platform, from Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn. I got banned from TikTok twice. The last time I got banned from TikTok was for showing this video.
He's still hurting because you know what? He kind of flew in from one of his mansions during the campaign and thought, well, yeah, Barack Obama's here and I'm here. And, he did the same thing when he's talking about wealthy liberals with black males. He went up to them and, just because you're, some of your black male, I hear, you like a strong leader and you like Donald Trump and, Don't do it. Don't be fooled. Let me tell you what's good for you. I know what's in your real interest. And they just basically said, okay, go back in your jet and go back in your Gulfstream and get back here. I don't want to listen to you anymore. We've
had enough of him.
Everybody is sick of him. And every time Michelle opens her mouth, it's all you have to do is say, what is the grievance meter? 1 to 10. Oh, you don't know how much I had to pay. We had to pay for our own food at the White House. They raised the bar on us. Oh, we had to get clothes.
I think
people look at me and they all say, what's she wearing today? Oh, I'm such a victim. That's how she does.
Yeah, she throws the grievance meter way off the scale.
She's a cry bully, too. She's passive aggressive. She's always bullying somebody, and so is he. Why don't they just go away? He had his 8 years. He wrecked the country. That was the idea. We're only 5 days away from fundamentally transforming. You did it. You gave us Obamacare. You destroyed our foreign policy. You let Putin into Ukraine. You did everything you wanted to do. And you got into your Trayvon Martin thing. You got in your beer summit thing. You got in all of that.
Gave a lot of power to Iran thing as well.
Valerie Jarrett and you got your Iranian thing. Why don't you just go back and crawl back where you go back to Hawaii and sit there and go on your yachts with your Hollywood celebrities? We're sick of you.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it said it went against their community standards. How? Because these two podcasters were talking about the Obamas in an unfavorable way. They didn't incite violence. They didn't really spew out any hate speech other than just making fun. How is that not borderline what UK is doing? How is that not borderline communism? Okay. Fast forward to the unfortunate tragedy of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And what did we see? We actually saw these hypocritic social media platforms showing the actual assassination and murder of Charlie Kirk. What? I mean, seriously, you can see that type of violence, which is only going to incite more. It's normalizing murder. It's normalizing the murder of conservatives by allowing for these videos to show and air on their platforms. I mean, that versus the video I just showed you. Are you kidding me? I don't know who to turn to for help. I wanted to turn to somebody to handle TikTok and put them in their place and say, you're violating this conservative's free speech, freedom of expression. Everything I posted was factual. It just wasn't what they wanted to hear. It's just not what TikTok wants spread because they know it's the truth. TikTok and other platforms hate the truth. They don't want people to spread the truth, right, of the terrible job that the Obamas did. And I say the Obamas because I think Michelle had her hand in some of this stuff. The running of our country into the ground started with Obama. I mean, it goes way back if you really want to get, but I'm talking about to the level that it is today. Trump's election in 2016 kind of slowed that down. But then when Biden was elected in 2020, when he was installed in 2020, it kind of picked up the baton from what the Obama started and what they were trying to finish the job. So, this is why there are so many reasons it was so critical for President Trump to win this election, this last election. But what the left is saying about people getting fired for simply voicing their opinion. Okay, there's a difference. And the fact that I have to explain this says everything everybody should know about liberals with their lack of logic, okay? It's either they're in denial or they're just literally, they suffer from not having enough logic. When we posted what our opinions about, anything that the left did, it was always like the truth. It was like, okay, this person is... maybe we said they were an idiot. Okay, whatever. So it wasn't nice. So what? Sticks and stones, right? But then we would say, this is why they're lying. This is why they're not getting their facts straight. And conservatives got suppressed for that. Just trying to educate people and show the truth. The left is celebrating the murder of a Christian man. They're celebrating this. They're showing their own evilness. Now, is that against the law? No. However, employers have the right, and they usually have a handbook that says you can't go around saying that if you want to work here, you signed off on that, which it's kind of like a subcontract, right? It's kind of like you sign on knowing that you're not supposed to do that, anything that's going to be reflective of the company that employs you. So in this situation where the left was celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, these are people who were teachers, doctors, nurses, people who are supposed to help people. First of all, I wouldn't want an evil being around my young child. I wouldn't want them being taught by someone who has those views. No way. So that's on them. No decent parent wants that, right? So they are supposed to be nonpartisan. And they're not supposed to teach kids about their politics or anything like that. But they have been doing that since 2016 and maybe before, implementing their little woke ideologies, their take on Biden, their take on Trump, making Trump to be the bad guy. I mean, all of those things, they're not supposed to do that. They're just supposed to do their job and teach kids the curriculum. So, they signed off on their position when they agreed to follow the rules of the handbook. That's why they got fired. Okay, let's talk about doctors and nurses. This is getting into the fact that if they are that partisan and have that much hatred for a Christian man who was basically spreading truth because he had more education in his pinky than people who have an actual degree. And he was a Christian guy. So he was basically doing it all like in the Christ-like fashion, like, tell me your point of view and here's why I'll tell you mine and tell me why I'm wrong. Like it's hearing both sides, right? So these doctors and nurses who would go in and basically when they celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk, it made you feel, it's obvious that, first of all, it's putting the conservatives like me, my life in danger. Do I want a doctor or a nurse who would celebrate the murder? They took an oath to save lives, keep in mind, and they're celebrating the murder of a Christian man, a Christian good doer. They're celebrating it publicly. That says to me they are evil. And if it came down to if they knew I was MAGA or knew I was conservative, would they save my life? If you're evil enough to celebrate the murder of a nice, good family man, Christian man, then I'm going to say probably no. And again, it goes back to you signed off on it. First of all, doctors and nurses take an oath to save lives. And so when they take a position like any other employer, they agree to the handbook rules, right? In the handbook, you'll see there is a section with social media. It says that you can't post things that are going to put the company in a bad light or be unfavorable. So you signed off on that. That kind of it doesn't negate your constitutional rights, but it basically is like an amendment to it. It's like you're signing off saying, yes, I know I have my constitutional rights, but I'm also agreeing if I want this job that I'm not going to go around saying these things. Okay. That's just logic. And people who claim to be all this educated and act like they don't know what's going on, they're either playing dumb really, 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 really well, or they literally lack the logic to understand. And I'm going to say it's probably the latter. So I'm tired of the hypocrisy. You guys who have followed me for some time, you know I have been screaming for the FCC to step in with the mainstream media and the fake news. I have been screaming that for almost 10 years. When the mainstream media like CNN, MSNBC, all of those idiot organizations started spreading fake news. They would basically follow things on social media. I guess their little news producers would come and say, here's a story, everyone's saying this, it's going viral, and so then they would start using that. They cross the line from reputable journalism, reputable journalists that they should have been, into playing the telephone gossip game and being spreaders of misinformation. They just spread the rumors that they would see on social media. That is not journalism. That is far from it. But that's what the mainstream media has been doing for the past, probably goes further back than just 10 years, but I'm going to tell you that's when I started recognizing it. And they never were held accountable for it. That's bullshit. So what the FCC is doing now, which what they should have done under Biden, under Trump the first time, it should always be nonpartisan. It's about show me the facts and let's present the facts. That's it. That's what they are paid to do. Not spew out their ideologies or their political preference. None of that. They're not supposed to, but they've been doing that. And I guess they just didn't give a shit. I mean, you can't tell me you didn't know you weren't, you were running with stories, even though you knew that probably wasn't true. It doesn't matter. New York Times, ABC, Washington Post, Huffington Post, all of them, all of those billionaire, oligarch, owners of these news organizations, supposed to be news, and it's been entertainment the last 10 years, not really news. They all supported Biden. We all know that they funded his campaign, and it's just hypocrisy. It's disgusting. It's not professional, and it has to stop. It's also criminal. It's criminal to spread lies and propaganda. You're borderline communism there. I mean, not even borderline. It is full-on communism. So it's time to stop. And I applaud the FCC for finally stepping forward. I have been screaming this, and I've been saying defund the media. If they can't tell the truth, defund them. And here's why. People used to say, well, how do you do that? Well, you talk to the advertisers, the constituents, the consumers, who are both one and the same, need to just start calling up these businesses who, when you see an ad on these networks and saying, you are funding this, and I'm going to start a campaign against you because you are promoting these lies and these, like, we're conservatives will come together, and we will, and we have proven that we can do that. Liberals don't even have the power to do that. There's the far left, they just don't. So I'm going to propose that the FCC come up with some kind of guidelines, right? So it's a 3-strike system. Why not? These people should know better anyway. They have already been allowed to spew lies and misinformation for years, mislead the American people. I mean, that's just unethical, and it's just wrong. So they should do a 3-strike system, right? So the first strike, you get a slap on the wrist, and you're getting a fine. Second strike, you get a fine and you lose your license for maybe 15 days, maybe 30. Okay. So they can't air any advertising. They're going to lose money. They pay the fine and they can't air, any news. They can't air any, like, they have to change the programming for 30 days. They're not allowed to get on there and give any kind of information that would lead them or give them the ability to misinform Americans again. So their news has to be on hiatus. They can still show regular programming for entertainment purposes, whatever. And then the third strike, you're out. You lose your license. You can maybe reapply in a year, but you lose your license. You've spewed off misinformation and misleading the American people enough, it's time to take your license away. And I don't think it should be forever. I do think they should be allowed to come back and reapply, but then they have to go through a training that the FCC has set forth. Like you have to complete all of these hours of recertification so you can get your license back, whatever. And you have to follow these guidelines. So why not? Listen, people like me, Americans, conservatives, we have been suppressed and kicked off of platforms. Why can't they? They should be treated the same exact way, except for it's worse because they are supposed to be the people that American citizens trust for news and information. And when they're misleading, misguiding, and lying to the American people, that's not okay. So that's my take on that. I really hope that the FCC moves forward with something more robust as far as a plan goes to hold these mainstream media and news networks accountable, because I have had enough. And I know I'm not alone. I know the majority of the people who voted for President Trump and even new Republicans. I understand that we've gained more Republicans since the left keeps showing their true colors and their evilness. You know, that these people have morals and are like, why am I even a part of this Democratic Party anymore? I don't want it anymore. I want to be a Republican. Some are going independent, but a lot of them are flipping over to Republicans. So we need to always have a two-party system in place, I think, an independent, you know, just to keep things balanced, right? That's what I think should happen with the FCC and what's allowed and what's not. It's just sad that you have to do this to basically show these news networks ethics and morals and standards, because they don't have those anymore. Those went out the window with their leftist liberal ideologies. Yeah, I think I've been numb for the past since Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's still unbelievable that happened. So the Democrats are going to continue to lose voters as long as they stay on this path, and they are just too stupid to get out of their own way. They've already lost hundreds of thousands of voter base because of their evil ways of doing things. And I knew that God would work through Charlie Kirk, and he has. I think when people, they may not have liked him, but people that have ethics and morals knew the moment that the left started celebrating his assassination that they were on the wrong side of history. They know. It's just kind of like if you have any kind of moral compass, you're going to go, why am I even a part of this party? That's disgusting. They are disgusting, vile, and evil. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to go for the party that is the right. And they seem to have more empathy, sympathy, compassion, morals, and ethics for the American people. And before you guys start decrying, oh, what about what you're doing to the illegals? Okay, well, they're here illegally. So there's that. Let's talk about that for a second. These people who are here illegally, they're not all getting arrested. I promise you. I promise you. I know some who, you know, work hard and they have businesses and they have family members still that they send money to. They're not the ones who they're going after. So the Democrats, I should say the far left liberals, they need to really look at who they're defending when they try to block, you know, ICE from doing their job. By the way, they should be arrested for that. That should be like interfering with an arrest, and I'm pretty sure you can get arrested for that. They need to get out of the way. If you're one of those people, stop and think about this. They are not arresting the people who have their head down, you know, and keeping their nose clean and working hard for their families. That's not who they're going after. If you haven't figured that out yet, again, it's your lack of logic and you look like a freaking idiot. They're going after people with records, rapists, child pedophiles. I mean, these criminals that came in here illegally and just thought they went on a rampage and thought, you know, going after the kids. I mean, the innocent, it's just ridiculous. You're defending these criminals, these violent, evil criminals, when you block ICE from doing their job. You're on the wrong side of the law, man. So, but what's new? I wish everybody would just come together and just be less extreme. The moment I saw people cheering for the death of an amazing Christian, innocent, loving man, I knew that, first of all, it's always confirmation for me that I'm on the right side of politics. I'm on the right side of history. I'm on the correct and right side of good, and not evil. So thank you for reminding me, Left. Sometimes it's not that I need a reminder because your shit show is constant and it's a constant reminder, but still. I still would like to see people stop being so extreme and evil. And I think when that happens, we'll be able to come together as a nation when you put human life first. And I'm not talking again about the illegals that are raping kids and all. I'm not okay. They need to get out. They need to go to prison. They need to get out of our country. I'm talking about everything will be more peaceful if we just look at what Christ wanted. Look at your moral compass. Look about if you think it's okay to cheer for the assassination of a nice, kind, decent human being. I don't even cheer for that for a bad person. Like it's just anyway. It's time to pray. It's time to come together as a nation and just stop this evil insanity and let's get law and order. Law and order is what our country needs and Christ. That's why Trump is going to keep winning, and so is the Republican Party, because they are about law and order. And once the American people see that their cities are safer, that their kids are not being victimized anymore, or any of our women or even men are being victimized or brutally attacked, that they live in a safer America, I think that's going to be where people are going to start demanding that of their Democrat Party, at least, or they're going to start voting Republican. So keep Charlie Kirk's family in your prayer and all of his friends and family because they need it. So our nation needs your prayers. Thanks for watching.